If you go back to verse number 37, obviously verse number 36, he talks about something similar to that. It's the same thing. But then verse 37, at least he's talking about wine again. Verse 37, no man putteth new wine into old bottles, else the new wine will burst the bottles and be spilled, and the bottles shall perish. But new wine must be put into new bottles, and both are preserved. The wine and the bottle are preserved. And then verse number 39, no man also having drunk old wine straight away. Okay. Here I told you that he was talking about the Old Testament and the New Testament. The Old Covenant and the New Covenant. The Old Contract and the New Contract. But then he's talking about new wine, which means there is old wine, right? Right. You can't put the new wine into old bottles or into old wine skins. Now, every time you see Jesus talking about that, and he's in most cases referring to wine, you have to understand, in most cases he's talking about his blood. And we can't have the New Testament without his blood. Are we together? Now, this is the situation that I wanted to understand. He is presenting a scenario here, and he's talking about pouring the new wine into old bottles. And he's telling you that the new wine has the ability to break the old bottle. It's heavier than the bottle, mightier than the bottle. The power within the new wine, the old bottles cannot withstand it. And this could be the reason why when Jesus came trying to introduce the New Testament or the new wine, he preferred the disciples that were not part of the religious groups. Are we together? Because he's about to pour in new wine, but he has to find new bottles. People that are not yet contaminated with the old wine. Why? Because the people that have drunk the old, they don't easily prefer the new. So I'm going to take you back. We have to look at some few things here. So Jesus is preferring the people that were not even in the church. People that have never been into the synagogues. Understand that there were Pharisees and Sadducees the time Jesus came, right? Right? There were Pharisees and Sadducees, and these people, they could read the law right from the head. These people were really religious, and everything that they understand was the old covenant. But Jesus now is talking about something here. In verse number 39, no man also having drunk old wine straight away desireth new. For he saith the old is better. So Jesus here is telling you that what I'm trying to do here is to introduce a new covenant. Coming to you is like, I'm looking for vessels. I am the wine, and I want to pour myself into vessels that can contain me. But the New Testament is much more powerful than what you can carry. Because you have drunk the old wine. Again, remember we talked about two different wines. The good and right. And in this case, the book of Luke, Jesus is talking about the new and the... Okay, Jesus is the good wine and Jesus is the new wine, right? right? And the worse is the old. Because you still have blood in the old covenant, which is not good, which could not take away the sins of men, but it would just cover their sins for a certain period, about 12 months, right? Just 12 months. That was it. So I want you to get this. The master of ceremony is talking about two kinds or two types of wine, and Jesus also is confirming that in the book of Luke again. He's talking about the new wine and the old. But in this case now, Jesus is saying, now that you people, you have tasted the old wine, you no longer prefer the new, because you think that the old is better than the new. This is why you are ready to resist the New Testament. Even up to now, if you go to Israel right now, you have a majority of the Jews, they believe in the Old Testament. Why? Because they say it's better than the new. And Jesus now is, in this case, he's not saying they are never going to be born again, these people. He said straight away, they can't receive it straight away, which means they take time to move away from the old covenant into the new covenant. They prefer the old wine rather than the new wine. So, what is Jesus talking about here? Where is the old covenant and where is the new covenant? Now, to start with now, when the governor or when the master of ceremony gave his comment after testing the water that was turned into blood, he said, every man, he gives his visitors good wine and then worse, but you have kept the good up to now. He is not saying you have produced the good. He said you have kept. You have been able to keep it for a very long time up to now. So you see, there is good wine, there is worse, and there is good, because the good was kept up to now. But in most cases, it was good, worse, worse. So it was just like good and worse. And that was the end of the wedding. Good and worse. Good and worse. But in this case, it's good, no worse, and good up to now. But understand what he's talking about. He's talking about what normally happens during other wedding ceremonies. And this one is different.